Record, share screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
The JSON? Okay, so today we're going to talk about the last part of the UI builder in terms of developers and how you add new components to Zap for Zap to know them. So let me show you first the interface, and then I will, and then we'll see. Okay, so basically the way it works, let me kill everything here. Okay, so the way it works is like that. You have screens. For each screen, you have component. The components are plugins, and but there are plugins that are dedicated to here, so they will not appear in the plugin section. And I will now show you the manifest, and you will see. But basically, when you add a component, there is a component pool. And once you would like to add a new component, once you will add it, it will appear only in this pool. So let's assume that you want to create tomorrow a horizontal list view, whatever. You finish the code, and now you want to declare it in Zap. It will appear here in the components pool. So there are a few restrictions that are a little bit more restrictive in comparison to other plugins, because this currently is we should enforce it also a plugin, but like components has specific parameters that are needed in order to be in the system. And in comparison to or if I compare it to the regular plugins, so for the regular plugins you just publish, and for the components there will be a review of how it looks, because it also requires some UI elements in Zap. So once you configure the manifest, basically this is the form that the manifest is populating. Okay, so I'm elaborating a little bit. So it composed out of 3 or 4. There is also could be a general section, and each section has its own configuration fields. So this is something that you know, and now I will show you the manifest and I will explain how it works. First, I will say that the generation of it currently is manual. So Zapifest is not supporting all these options currently, but it will happen. I don't know if it will happen with the Zapifest tool, or it will happen with some other tool, maybe a visual interface, but currently it's manual. So now let's go to the manifest. So I put here, for example, the tab bar component. Okay, so this is the tab bar component. And as you can see, it has the data section, rules, styles, and some different parameters. So in the manifest, there are a few things that you're already aware. API, currently it's for future use, the author name, the email, the manifest version, the name, all this is basics. Description is very important, and you should put an effort to it, because it will appear here. So for example, if I go to the tab bar, so this is the description of the tab bar. So this is one field that, in comparison to the plugin, that I'm not sure that you are really filling. So here you need to do it, and there are some extra ones. So put effort to describe well your component. And then there are some other metadata fields that are important for how it appears in the CMS. So there is a thumbnail that you should support. When you will provide let's say that tomorrow you want to develop a new component, so you should provide the manifest and some thumbnail and screenshots and preview images. So anyways, you should provide the thumbnail with the width and the height of the image, the thumbnail is this thing, okay? This small thing here. This is one thing. I will elaborate a little bit more about the process and how you should do that, because this is something that not a developer should provide. But I'm talking now about the manifest. Let's assume that you have all that you need. Then you need to put screenshot. The screenshot is what I showed you in more info. So I don't know. So it will appear here and it will be a gallery. So for these ones are not very good. These red ones, are the default one, but these are the screenshots and it's an array. So you can put multiple. Identifier, type is important. The type must be a UI component in order for it to appear in under the UI builder. So pay attention to it. And then you have the preview. And I will also talk a little bit about the preview. So in the preview is very important because this is what it appears here. Okay, so if I'm adding, I don't know, if I'm like changing the order, it changes, and whatever. If I add components, it adds it here, and it's in order. It's not like a very specific, but it's like wireframes for the user to understand what he sees. So this is one thing. And then you need also to give the ratio, or not the ratio, like the width and the height. Then in the preview, as you can see, it's under a general object. So there is also an option to override it by giving previews for different cell styles. So when you choose a cell style, basically, currently it's not configured here in production, but basically if I would choose different cell style, if I would have here an object, that is called, if I imagine that I have something like that, what was the name of the cell style? Tab cell 1, for example. You're with me? It's very quiet. I'm not sure if I'm talking to myself.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So here you put the cell style name. Okay. Then you put the URL, and then if you want the component to show the different cell styles, you can do that with this. Okay, so this is the general metadata. Description and thumbnails and screenshots and the preview, you should use a designer to help you do that. But a component could not be integrated if this is not provided. So next, stop me if you want to ask any question, because you're very quiet and I'm not sure if everything is clear or not. I assume yes, it's not that complicated till now. Okay. Then we have the fields that appears in the form. So these fields is something, it's a configuration that the component could have. And it's any kind of configuration that you want to appear in the API. So let me go back 1 second. Oh, it's not what I wanted. Yeah. So eventually, all these fields that you're putting appears in the API call that the app is using in order to. I will go back there after. Anyway, I will show it after how it looks. But basically, so what is different is that these remote configurations, or whatever you want to call it, is divided into 4 sections. So you have the style section, you have the rules section, you have the data section, and the general section. And how it works. So we are very restrictive about about the order, because as you can see, these fields are, each component should have these three kinds of sections. And now let's go to the field. So you have a field parameter, fields, which is an array. In the array, you basically define the key. You define type out of, it's not exactly the same types as you use for the regular plugin. You can choose either a select, a multi-select, a text, and switch, a slider, and also you will be able to choose soon color picker and image upload or file upload. So basically here you can see all of them. This is a switch, this is a select, this is a text number, this is multi-select. You see the buttons? It's multi-select, and I don't have here the slider, but slider, it's like, think about a bar that you can give a number with it. So how it works? You can define regular fields, and it's easy. The way it defines it, you have the key of it, you have the type of the input text or of the input. You have rules that currently there is only one rule that I will show, but if you want a standalone field, you just put none. And then you put the options if it's a select, and if it's a text, you don't need to put anything. You just put the key and the type, if it's a number input or a text input. Only for options or multiple, only for select or multi-select, you need to provide the options. So this is easy. This is kind of similar to what we did so far. But now let's look at this. So here you have a key that is called cell styles, and basically, as you can see here, it has a rule that it's say conditional. What it means? It means that every change in this field will have an effect on other fields, and I will show you. So here, so for example, this is the regular definition, and then under it you have conditional fields. The conditional field is what other element in the form is changing according to this. So as you can see here, I have family 1 and I have family 2. So under cell style, you can see that I will have family 1 and family 2. No, this is the tab bar. No, maybe it's not an updated form, but basically, yeah. So let me see if there is something here. Yeah. So for example, this is a conditional field. I have here cell body component type. Let's go here. Yeah. So you still with me? Because I see people are leaving slowly. Sergey, you're here?
Where with you?
Cool.
No, yeah. We just moved to a different room.
Okay.
You hear us?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm moving on. So as you can see here, I have a cell body styles, which is this. Okay, and this is a conditional field. Okay, it changes according to this key, cell body component type. Okay, and if the conditional value is, if it's a grid, the field will populate these options. If it's a list, the field will populate these options. So as you can see, this is the field. Okay, this field is a standalone, the cell body component type. So if I will go here, sorry, you can see I have cell body component type. Let me do something like this. As you can see, I have cell body component type. Okay, with two options, grid and a list. If I will change, this field will change accordingly. So this is called cell body styles. And you can see that the conditional field is according to the condition value is grid, and these are the options that it populates under these key. So this logic could be applied on any section, on anything basically. Currently, there's only one rule here that it's conditional. This is one rule that we support. And I think that's basically it. The rest is you can do the same logic under rules or under data or under general, basically. Um, so what's missing here and what in the future, like the nearest. So as I said, we will add more types, which is it will be a color picker and image upload, audio upload, whatever, all these kind of file uploaders. And sorry, and some other things that we will do is you will be able to set up a validation for your field. So for example, let's assume that your component is by the way, sorry to jump, but as you can see in data, you also define the type of data that you're accepting. So if it's either a collection, an atom, a category, whatever, this is also something that you define. So yeah, so in the future, or in the nearest future, we will also add validation. So you will be able, for example, to enforce users to say you cannot leave this whatever empty, or you cannot put here, or for example, this must be a URL, or whatever, this kind of validation. And basically, that's it. It's kind of straightforward. It's a little bit more complex than the regular plugins um, because it allows you some more possibilities. And like
One,
there is a relation between, as you can see, between different
one,
inputs. Okay,
one.
yeah, you cannot hear me.
You're cut. We
What?
hardly hear you.
You can hear me now or no?
Yeah, we hear you now, but sometimes freezes. The internet.
Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay, so I don't know where it stopped, but basically I said that we are going to add validation to the fields to allow you to validate the fields um, with whatever validation that you want, like to enforce. The form will not be saved if the validation will not work, and we will add some extra types. And of course, we will allow you to create, we will give you an interface to create this. Either it will be an extension of the Zapifest, or for the meanwhile, and in the future, it will be a visual interface. Questions? Sergey? You're not with me? Can you hear me, someone?
Now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I will try again. I don't know if you heard it or not. Tell me if I said it already, if you heard it. But basically, we will add validation to the form. You will be able to validate the input that you're putting in the form, and we will add other types of elements like a color picker, um, file uploaders, and more. And of course, we will add an interface, so you don't need to create this manually. Questions? Anyone? All clear? Or I'm not, or you don't hear me anymore?
We can hear you now. I can hear you now. And it's clear for me.
Part of the time.
מה דרור?
שמענו אותך חלק מהזמן, זה היה מקוטע.
אז תשאלו שאלות. Ask questions. I don't know what you didn't hear and what you did.
No, I think I understood the mechanism. I
Basically,
have one question actually. Between components, for example, can I configure some rules or something like this? Like communication between components? Or not even communication, like if I can put, I don't know, for example, the apps should be in the top and you can't put anything above it, for example? No, it's different. It's like, is there options to
I don't hear you. Can you go next to the microphone?
Yeah, I asked if there is, like, for example, components that you can't put under it some other components.
Yes, there are. Currently, it's not enforced, but it should be enforced in the rules. So if you want this kind of things, you should say, for example, in the rules that you want to say, let's say, I don't know what you want to call the key, but whatever, we will think about a name.
For example, you can put carousel above the tabs. I don't know, just
Yeah. Look, the idea is that you will be able to put everything everywhere. That's what we are aiming to. Currently, we have one component that we cannot put anything under it, which I'm not even sure that it's true for Android. But anyways, the screen picker. The screen picker is a component that it's like on ProSieben app, that you have a tab bar on the top. But basically, it's exactly the same as tab bar. So I want to allow to put tab bar wherever you want. But yeah, currently there is no restrictions. Like there is no enforcement of restrictions. But yeah, this is something that we need to add. I agree.
Okay. Ran, I also have one question regarding communication.
Please go closer to the microphone because it's hard for me to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good. So my question is about communication between components.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have this capability, or
this is something that this is when I thought about the section that is called rules. This is what I wanted to have here. So under rules, you should have, again, this manifest is only populating data that you need for your component. So basically, it's up to you to define whatever you want and make sure that the code is doing what you're expecting it to do. So this field rules, when I created it, this is what I thought, that under rules, for example, you can add. I just give you an example. Let's assume that I want to put. Let's imagine that I want to put here this confusing. But let's say that I want to put it's empty. let's say that I want to put a carousel. I'm just inventing now, and it changes the list below it. Okay?
Yep.
So for example, you can say, again, it depends on your component, but you should define in the component, for example, like I'm inventing now, yeah? But let's say that you can do here, for example, to have a field um, that is called, for example, on click, okay?
Mm-hmm.
On click action. And then you can populate different options, like that you populate accordingly with a conditional field according to the component that you allow to put or whatever. So basically this is the rule section. You can say on click action, and to create different kind of options, like I don't know, change component above, change component below, or open a new activity, whatever, a new screen. Okay, so again, it depends on the implementation of the component, because basically this manifest is nothing. It's only for populating you data that you will be able to use. So this is the idea. The idea is to do this if you want this kind of communication or stuff like that.
But you will need to add it to all other components.
Or not,
If you have,
or not. You will need to add it to the component that you want to add this action or this rule. Yeah. It depends on the functionality of the component. And again, this implementation of this component, it's a basic implementation. So when we are exposing, look, the system should it has two purposes, or it has like two kind of users that are similar but still different. This will allow developers to create components, but it's still a difference between an internal Applicaster developers and the external ones. For example, I don't know, tomorrow we want to allow Televisa to develop their own HTML ticker, whatever, I don't know. So if you are Applicaster, you can edit an existing component in the pool. Okay? So what you see now, for example, for the tab bar, it's related to the current implementation of the tab bar. But there is something, for example, in the tab bar that you need to decide here how the bottom, like the container that is under the tab will look like. It could be either a grid or a list. But if tomorrow, Draw, for example, you want to put under the tab bar a carousel, then you will need to edit this tab bar. So internal Applicaster developer could edit an existing component. Again, everything should be under review and etc. etc. But basically, this is the purpose. Like what you see here is the base implementation of the component.
okay.
More. Ruven, for sure you have a question.
Ram,
Yeah.
I have a question like regarding where to put the root component. Because I seen that most of the samples we seen is using the composite list. But what about if I want a different root component like a dynamic composite or any other thing?
Sergey, you want to
Just
answer?
talking about screen type.
Sergey, you want to answer?
What? In screen types?
Yeah. Right now we're using only the component, the composite.
We use only
If I want-
composite.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the only. What type of screen you want to add? Like
Not a list. Show page.
show
And
page?
I don't know, an article.
Yeah, like white label screens, no? Is how they call them.
Whatever.
Currently, white label screens are not componentized. I mean, so we are going to. We'll need to make them based on the current generic structure.
What? But composite?
Uh,
well, the way it is now is the composite, but yeah, we will need like to have the components that we have in the white label screen. We'll need to.
Can I set in the manifest the screen metadata, screen rules or something, or
it's like it's called a connected screen. Like we have potentially in the show screen.
No, I'm not talking about the data source.
Then
I want different screen. I don't want the composite.
I mean, it will be, everything is supposed to be under the composite.
All right. Okay.
With all the components that we have.
This is a standalone component. It's not a screen. So I don't understand the question. You create a component. What I'm showing now is how to create a component. Let's assume that you want to create I don't know, which screen, for example, you are missing.
I want to create a new screen type.
What is a screen type?
What we see here, it's composite screen type.
I don't know. You're talking to me gibberish. You go here, you create a new screen.
Article screen I want to buy.
So you need to componentize the article screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it will need to be a list of items.
Of components.
It doesn't need to be, like, again, it depends. What is the difference between, I'm asking now, what is the difference between the article screen, for example, and a show screen? Explain me.
Show screen is a list of items, and articles is a text with
Perfect.
The UI.
So okay, so I can solve your problem in two ways. First, you can tell me I have an article component, okay? This is I'm throwing all the options in the air, okay? You can tell me tomorrow I want to have an article component that and according to the article component, I don't know what it is.
No, it's not article component.
So what it is?
It's a screen with new components, but it's not a list.
Not a list. So what is it? Again?
I don't know, some other components.
So put
some other, not list, HTML and.
So you go here. You do.
I don't know, share buttons and.
Yeah. So you go here, and you do share button. It's something related to cell cell, but I'm giving you like a very high level explanation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna do article, okay? So I have article screen. Okay, I have an article screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now the article screen. What you want to have here? You want to put a pager. You said, right? So you put a counter.
No, but it's not in the one list. It's let's say I have text, and in the middle I have the image, and I don't know, some other place I have.
So what you're asking here to do is you're asking me to say. Also, I'm telling you what you need to do. You need to create a text component, okay, for example, and then what else you want under the text?
One in the middle of the text, the image, the video, or something, image.
Okay, so you need to add the text component, an image component, and what else? Whatever you want.
In the middle of the text, you have an image.
Sababa. So you need to put a text component for the top. It's an option, okay? I'm explaining you an option, the basic one. You create a text component. You create under the text component what you wanted, a video?
Not under.
Whatever. So you create the component that is called a text with a video on the top left corner.
But you build me a composite with the items.
What?
It will build the composite with items, one above the other, below the other.
So
for example, this is the screen that we are supposed
to change the implementation of this for this specific scenario. I'm explaining you that the current implementation is for a use case of the basic component that we currently use. And for a specific kind of other screens, there are multiple options. One of the options is what I offered you, to create different types of components that you will use them. And if you need to change, as you are an applicator developer and not an outside developer, because for an outside developer, I'm telling him, these are the restrictions that you need to do. But for you, I can say you can go to the code, create a pull request, and change whatever is needed.
No. My question, if I will be able to add, instead of generic screen, another type of screen. That's the question.
Generic screen is something
When you open a new screen,
it will be always generic screens.
we wish to create only generic screens. There are things that might be what we call white label, okay? But let's say that the goal is to have that everything could be composed by component. Understand? We can, for example, there are multiple options. You can decide that the article screen is a plugin, and then you have 5 different article screens, okay, that you can choose. For one example, you can decide that it could be
And in this case, we do them in React Native.
whatever. Doesn't matter. Again, there are multiple options of solving the problem. Multiple options. But if you ask me how I see the screens of the app, I see them all as a general
List.
like the general screens. And again, if you're talking now about the implementation, if it's a composite or whatever this naming that we call, today it's something like this, and tomorrow it could change. It's what I'm trying to talk about is
my question was if I be able to add different screens, so that's the only screen I can add in the.
So as you can see currently, when you try to create a new screen, just delete this.
No, I know. Right now I can favorite and generic. That's
Exactly. So yeah. So the again, it probably would be in iterations. So probably the first step, you will be able to choose, I want here EPG, or I want article, or I want settings. Okay, let's say, and these settings will be like a white label. Currently, the way it works, that you have either general content screen and the rest is like baked into your app, right?
No, it's not. It's not must be white label. It can be component type. But,
yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
okay.
As I see it, really, I don't know how much time it will take. It's easy, but as I see it, everything should be a screen that you can compose with the UI builder. This is how I see it. And let's do the iterations and let's create new components. And for sure, we will understand that we have some problems and we will amend. That's for sure. It's not that tomorrow you will be able to add any type of components, but once you will try, you will see the pitfalls and you will fix it. You or whomever. That's the point in general. So I think that now, sorry, any other questions? Silence. Okay. So I think we covered everything about the UI builder. Like we have three talks about it. The first one was very generic about the CMS. Second one explained a little bit and about the code. And today I showed the manifest. Look, there is a lot more work to do, but I still think that it's much better to create this new code and to create new components and understand the problem than I'm talking for developer wise than changing JSON files till it works. So I really invite you everyone to start doing that, and I hope that this will be production ready in 1 month, let's say, or something like that. But anyway, I really think that you should start that every new development that you do that is related to layouts, that you will add it as a new component rather than playing with JSONs and whatever. And all the questions that were asked are very valid, and we need to see the implementation and the way it works. More
Vale.
questions?
Vale. Yeah? Vale. No va? Vale?
Yeah, something?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone wants to say something related to something else? We have 15 minutes if you like to use them. Sergey, you want to update about the chord merge, and you said there was
Yeah.
regression or something?
Well, the code was merged today morning. We also did a small revert with the Play Services library to the previous version. So there was some issue with the Chromecast. So it will be in the... Now I will create another development dev version. We are starting from version now. It's like 4.0 point something. So it's a jump because of the UI builder changes. And now we'll also send some other apps to Applause to see that everything is okay. But if you guys see any crashes or something that you think it's related to the UI builder, talk to me, and I will see if there are some issues with it. Basically, that's it. So, we're doing a sync or something, or not?
If you want, we can do that. We have 10 minutes. So each one has 2 minutes to update about what he's working on. It will be nice.
Okay, I can update that I kind of finished build Android TV, the struct of the application. I have two issues. One that I'm using support library 17, so I need to see how can I build specific for the TV. I will talk with you around later or tomorrow or something with different minimum SDK. And now I'm trying to build it with the UI builder. See how it
With the JSON.
with the JSONs, yeah. That's it. I'm using the latest code that Sergey merged today, and I will see how it works. So basically, I have a completely different home main activity and
Different route.
yeah, and I built a new route navigation. Yeah. That's it.
Nice. So next week you can show us something?
I think so. I prefer in 2 weeks. Probably something next week.
Sababa.
So now I'm currently creating a new host manager for Russia. I hope that I finish it this week.
Which one, Gil? The one that Reshet wanted, like the floating tabs?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. That's it.
Atanas?
I've been working on the Squadio player for Android. It's ready. Like the just a few minor bugs left, but I'm not gonna fix them because they're low priority. So guys, if you're interested, you can just download the Quasi app and play with it. It's Somebody told me that for the first time in the company, Android is ready before iOS. So if you want to give it a try, please do. And like, yeah, if you find anything, please report it back to me. And like, I appreciate being let known about bugs and issues. Currently, I'm working on the storefront. So we have a specific requirement by the client for the storefront to work with the player. And I was really surprised to find out that currently you see a storefront that navigates the user to another storefront. And like I think this is not a very good UX, and like it is. I don't think how this can match with like any client's requirements. A storefront that goes to another storefront. I can imagine that there was a reason to do it in this way, so that you can customize it and have different means of.
Again, what do you mean? Storefront?
So just imagine you want to open a video, and like you try to open the video, and you need to be logged in. Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to access the storefront. Okay. The way it should be used is like you are displaying a page with some hard-coded text. It's a template, and it has a list of buttons for different options to log in. Like if you only add authorization provider, it will show one button for authorization. But you can add many of those. Also vouchers and in-app purchases. Yeah. So I just want, like, the client wants to have a login screen with their logo and like a custom storefront that will be used once to access the content. So I don't want, when I open the content, to be presented with a storefront, and then when I tap on the button, I am navigated to another storefront. And then I log in.
You can customize the storefront in the template.
Yes, but you have this page that has the different means of logging in. Yeah.
What items do you want to have in the storefront?
Say it again.
What items do you want to have in the storefront?
Whatever. I just need a token. Yeah.
What items?
What? You mean for like login, password, this kind of thing?
Okay. So SSO.
Yeah, SSO.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
SSO in our case means a lot of things. Like it means vouchers, it means authorization, it means.
SSO is specific for login.
Yeah, I want a custom. Well, actually, I'm implementing this a custom storefront without this screen where you can select your means of authorization or like vouchers or whatever. I just think it's very weird to have a page that you select your storefront and then be navigated to the storefront. It makes sense that you can have like vouchers. In-app purchases, login, whatever.
Again, you don't have vouchers, you have SSO. SSO, it's login. You will have one button with login, that's what you want?
No. So yes, but I don't want to have this screen because like I don't want the users to get into this selection screen and then again on the storefront.
So you want to go directly to the website.
So what you want, well, 1 second. And if you will have to log in method, what do you want to display?
I won't have to login methods. I will only have one method because this is the business
so you need to add logic. If you have one login method, display do redirect to the screen you want.
Yeah, I mean I'm custom coding I'm picking different parts of the storefront and authorization logic, and I'm grouping them together and customizing them. So I think if we wanted to have a solution that would work for anybody, I think that we failed because it doesn't work for our client and it doesn't work for me as a developer. So I just wanted to.
You what to do. Okay, you can talk with me after that.
I think we can. It's not just for the Android part. iOS has the same problem. I think we need to separate vouchers from.
But in iOS you have a single voucher, single sign-on or something.
Yeah, on iOS you don't have the screen where you can select your right. But on Android you have it. So I'm getting rid
So
of
this
that.
is what you need to add, the disability. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm fine doing that. It's not just configure it and that it will work without any customization. That's what I'm saying.
No, you don't need configuration. You need, if you have one item in the storefront, you need to do a redirect.
Guys, Atanas, Dror, I suggest first that you will talk after, and anyhow, I suggest that Dror, you will review the pull request in any case.
Okay, that's fine. Actually, Ruben has been assigned this pull request, and
I just
at one
want
point,
the Dror deal with it more, but whatever. Like, I'm just
okay, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind. It's not that it's like how to say. I think this API is badly designed, not really badly implemented because it's implemented well. It's just badly designed. That's what I think.
okay.
Let's talk after this. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so with 3 minutes.
That's everything. Sorry about being so verbose.
Thanks. Ruven, you want to update?
Maybe he's not with us.
You went to sleep.
Not check your work.
Okay. Pablo?
Well, I've been working all this week through all this week. Sorry, in two new player plugins. One is one player that I call it One Instance. Is using the native player video view in Android. The only difference between this player and the existing one is that it displays the videos in one instance activity using the one instance flag in the manifest, and also using the new intent in the activity. I reused the same video without creating a new one, giving a good experience for the multicam switch thing that they want to try in Televisa and other customers. I also changed a little bit some stuff in the player class, in the player activity, because I saw there was a logic for the IMA ads that never got used, and also
about it.
What happened?
You should talk with Elad about it because
okay, and also I mean I did not touch the player class, but in my plugin, because I copy and paste basically the player activity into my plugin activity and then modify it there. I did not touch the SDK class.
Pablo, one question. Why is it a plugin? Why do you need it as plugin and not change the player behavior?
No, because the thing is there's too many stuff that have been changed. It has been changed quick as well in just 1 week, and I don't want to put it into the SDK because there's so many. It's a high probability that there's some bugs and stuff. I don't want to touch the legacy code, and I think it's better to use the plugin infrastructure that we have already.
Plugin, that's why you did plugin. It's not a reason to do plugin.
It's better to do a plugin, I guess, no?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I give.
Plugin.
I think it's okay to do it a plugin. It will give us flexibility.
Yeah.
No, but it's a default behavior.
What is a default behavior?
Nobody wants it. Nobody? To open the player on the browser one each other?
Yeah, but it's what it was already there, so it's not a big problem to go to SAP and add a new plugin. It's nothing too bad.
But it should be in all apps, no?
Depending on the customer. Depending on the customer, if they want to use that one or the other. Depend on them. And then the other player that I'm working on is using the Google Media Framework, which is it's a nice video player they have for playing ads and videos on the same player as well. So that one I'm using it for inline players. And I have a couple of bugs there because we need to decide a way to when to play the video in the list, because in some cases there are more than one video in a list, and right now all of them play at the same time. So we need to define a policy to where to play one video. If it's the one once we click on M, or once the video reach the top, something, or in the middle of the screen. I don't know. We got to talk about with DB.
Now we did it, for example, with the 360. Once we click the
All right, good.
video, we check which player we want to open.
It's easier that way. It's easier on click because yesterday I was talking to another developer to try to make it like the Facebook way, which is whenever the video is on the middle of the screen, it starts playing. But I found that it's a little bit more complicated that way. We still can do it in maybe a future, but right now I think it's better with the click.
The feed, the run did it in the feed.
Yeah. What?
The autoplay cell or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Yeah, I did it, but no, I don't remember. I think we removed it. It was in the feed one time, but I think it's not implemented there anymore.
Oh.
But anyways, if I did it, it was more than 2 years ago. I'm sure it could be done better these days. So.
Well, yeah, of course. Just to see the example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it for me.
Cool. So Ruven is not here, I understand, no? No,
No idea.
only in spirit. Okay, so guys, I will upload the video. I'm sure that it was not complex, but it was a lot of data. So once you're deciding to create new component, please take a look at the YouTube channel. I think it's in the app that Udi created or I created or whatever. There are like million apps that having these sessions. So have a look at it, and that's it. Thank you, everyone. And if you want to consult with someone about the Android code, I assume it's better to talk to Sergey. If you want questions, general questions or questions about the CMS, you're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a nice day or
Cheers.
day, whatever. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.